Joined by some other friends that want to save the snakes, and tell us more.
I will tell you, I miss being out in the field, but in this case, I'm kind of glad there's a screen to protect me. Yes, so it is World Snake Day. And you know what, friends, as much as the creepy crawlies can be a little creepy, they are really useful and they do a lot of good. So let's go out now to save the snakes. And this is a nonprofit organization in our area doing so much amazing work to make sure that we know the snakes are there for good too. So Michael Starkey, who is the founder and executive director, good morning to you. What do you have in your hand? And tell me about snakes.
Good morning. Of course. It is so wonderful to be here. Good morning, everybody. So I'm here with, this is Pacific, which is a Pacific gopher snake. And then this is our education programs coordinator, not the snake, Adrian here, who's holding Sunflower. And so today is World Snake Day. This is an international event where people and organizations around the world are raising awareness about snakes, how they're important for the environment, and trying to put a little bit of a positive spotlight on them, because snakes are super important. So from South Africa to Nepal, Save the Snakes conservation partners are holding events today. So whether they're working with black mambas or king cobras, we're all trying to raise awareness for these important animals.
Okay, I'm always so fascinated when people have pet snakes. And so who should have a pet snake? Like, who is that good for?
Well, pet snakes are really interesting. So I have to actually say that my introduction to snakes came from a pet snake as well. Sometimes kids are it's hard to get them connected to the wild. And so an animal captive bred snake can be a wonderful introduction to the world of reptiles and snakes and even wildlife conservation. But it's really important to do your research because some snakes get really big and may not be suitable for everybody.
Yeah, and then they start eating other creatures that, you have to make sure you know how big your snake's going to get. Okay, so tell me more about the events that you're going to have today, because you have a couple of online forums and you want people to join in and learn more.
Right. We actually, unfortunately, right now, we just are wrapping up a webinar, so a World Snake webinar that's held by our conservation partners in South Africa, but it'll be posted online. So please look up our Save the Snakes YouTube, but also check out on social media, #World Snake Day, and you'll see all the amazing events that are happening around the world. From India all the way down to South America, people are raising awareness and doing some really cool stuff. Locally, besides kind of this event, we're kind of hanging low, staying cool like snakes like to do, and just we'll be hanging out at the center talking about snakes live on Facebook.
I love it. Okay, so also, before I let you go, Michael, we have a friend here who has a rat problem. John.
I have one that I found in the backyard.
Well, he's making it sound like they're crawling all over him every day.
Yeah,
okay,
it's a problem.
So is it smart to, if there are snakes native in your backyard or in your property area, keep them there, or should we have you and friends go and take them away?
Well, it's really important to learn what type of snakes are in your backyard. For one, if snakes are there, you might have not just one rat, but multiple rats. You might have a pest problem. And so if you go online to savethesnakes.org/coexist, we have some tips about how you can help get those rats out. But if you do have a rattlesnake, then that's a different situation where you may not want them on your property. And so there's certain humane ways you can release them. But again, learn more on SaveTheSnakes.org for tips on how to live safely with snakes.
Yes, and he's going to stick around in the next half hour to talk more about the rattlesnake. But what were you going to say, John?
I had another idea. Can they just bring a Toyota Tacoma full of snakes and just dump it into my backyard until we find that one rat?
And then come back later and pick them up?
Yeah, come back and pick them up then.
This is what we deal with. This is what we're dealing with.
Our snakes do work for per diem. No. Just kidding.
Michael Starkey, thank you so much.
But
Save
we
the
can.
snakes
I'll
again.
definitely help you out, though.
He'll help us out. He's going to stick around for the 10 o'clock hour because rattlesnakes are a big problem, especially if you're going out in the trails right now. So he's going to tell us more about what to do if you see one and what not to do.
Yeah.
All right, back over to you guys.
They're so important. I know people get freaked out by them, but without snakes, like seriously, could you imagine what would happen?
I know.
It'd be like his yard.
I know.
Tell you, it's a business idea. Just back up a dump truck full of, just dump them in there.
Well, they do it with the goats. The goats.
Exactly.
There you go.